Tibet, the land between reality and illusion. Imagine a place where you have to ask permission from the wind just to breathe, where the snow turns red as if someone playfully splashed paint, and where the world's highest mountain wears a stylish cloud hat like a model on a catwalk. That's Tibet, a land of magical, sacred tales and fascinating paradoxes. From the summit of Everest to the Lungta flags fluttering in the sky, this place is not just the roof of the world, but also a sanctuary of culture, nature, and the surreal. 1. Geographical location: the world's highest roof. Tibet, a majestic land on the Qinghai-Tibet plateau, is known as the roof of the world, with an average altitude of over 4,900 meters. It's like a giant attic of Earth, where humans rarely visit, except for occasional adventures, due to a lack of oxygen. The towering Himalayas cover a large part of Tibet, including Everest, the highest peak on the planet. Everest is not only a symbol of nature's grandeur, but also a proud giant, standing there to challenge and mock humanity for not easily overcoming it. But Tibet doesn't stop at sky-high mountains. It's also the planet's giant water factory, possessing the third largest amount of ice and snow in the world, after the Arctic and Antarctic. This abundant water source is the origin of many great rivers that nurture Asia, from the Yangtze and Yellow rivers to the Mekong. These streams carry life, irrigate vast plains, and sustain hundreds of millions of people. Tibet is not only the highest region in the world, but also the starting point of life, a snowy heart that beats fiercely for the entire continent. 2. Mount Everest and the legendary flags. On the summit of Everest, where the air is so thin it's hard to breathe, there's not only a lack of oxygen, but also strange natural phenomena that surprise anyone who visits. One of them is the mysterious clouds, known as sky flags. They appear unexpectedly, like waves swirling around the summit, then roll in the wind like flags fluttering in a fierce storm. Sometimes they transform into giant fans, reaching out like a supernatural dance of nature. Scientists, with their logical explanations, say it's just a natural meteorological phenomenon, a game of wind and clouds. However, for romantics, these clouds are not just the atmosphere, but also carry a mysterious message, like a greeting from the heavens to humankind, a silent connection between humans and the vast universe. Those who have stood on the top of Everest, feeling the cold breath of the thin air, will easily feel that these clouds possess magical power, both majestic and gentle, making people pause and reflect on the grandeur of nature. 3. Origin and distribution of Tibetans. The Tibetans, descendants of people who live on the roof of the world, originated from the Tibet Autonomous Region in southwestern China, where they have lived for thousands of years. Belonging to the Tibeto-Burman language family, Tibetans are an important branch of the Tibeto-Burmese language family. The Tibetan population in China in 2020 was estimated at around 6.3 million, and they are also present in countries like India, Nepal, Bhutan, and Pakistan. In these communities, Tibetans maintain their traditional culture while adapting to new living environments. One of the remarkable characteristics of Tibetans is their ability to live at altitudes above 4,000 meters above sea level, something few other ethnic groups can do. The Tibetan genetic heritage allows them to develop tolerance for the harsh climatic conditions of the high mountains, with low oxygen levels and cold temperatures. This has almost become a superpower, helping them not only survive, but also thrive in the mountainous environment of the Himalayas and the Tibetan Plateau. Tibetan society is very unique, with over 90% of the population being Tibetan, a prominent minority in China. Tibetans speak the Tibetan language and maintain a rich and distinctive culture, in which Tibetan Buddhism, especially Vajrayana, plays a vital role. Religious values not only affect spiritual life, but also deeply permeate traditional rituals, customs, and festivals. The Losar festival, Tibetan New Year, is one of the most important occasions, not only for family gatherings, but also as an opportunity for people to honor spiritual values. Besides religion, Tibetans also have their own cultural traits expressed through traditional art forms such as dance, singing, weaving, crafting woodwork, and silverware. These arts are not only a means for Tibetans to express their cultural identity, but also a bridge between generations, helping to pass on historical and spiritual values. However, integration with other ethnic groups, especially with Chinese communities, has brought about many changes in Tibetan society, affecting traditional customs and the way people live. Politically, Tibet is a sensitive area, where issues of religious freedom and self-determination of the Tibetan people have always been the subject of debate that has lasted for many decades. The Chinese government controls the area and imposes policies that have a significant impact on the lives of the Tibetan people. Although the Tibetan people still retain their unique cultural traits, the intervention of the Chinese government has changed many aspects of their society and religious life, creating conflicts that remain unresolved. 4. Culture and religion of Tibetans. Tibetans possess a rich and unique culture built over centuries and deeply influenced by Tibetan Buddhism. For Tibetans, Buddhism is not simply a religion, but also the core of all life values, from philosophy and art to everyday customs. Religious rituals with elaborate forms, sacred symbols worshipped everywhere, and colorful festivals all deeply reflect their spiritual beliefs. Traditional music with its soothing melodies, sacred dances in rituals, and complex mandala paintings all demonstrate a harmonious connection between art and faith. Moreover, the nature of Tibet is also an endless source of inspiration, helping to shape the unique identity of this land. A remarkable phenomenon that makes Tibet even more special is red snow. The snow-covered mountains are not only a common sight, but are sometimes adorned with a strange red hue, like a living work of art from nature. This red color comes from a resilient type of algae, which can survive even in freezing conditions down to -36 degrees Celsius. The red snow phenomenon not only sparks the curiosity of scientists, but also evokes the image of Tibet as a pioneer of unique snow fashion, where the snow never looks boring. The harmonious combination of distinctive culture and unique nature has made Tibet a magical land where traditions, beliefs, and natural wonders coexist, creating an irresistible attraction for anyone who wants to explore. 5. Transportation and infrastructure development in Tibet. One of the factors that make living and traveling in Tibet difficult is the rugged terrain and the lack of transportation infrastructure in the past. However, with the Chinese government's strong infrastructure development policy, Tibet has witnessed a major transformation in its transportation system. Roads, railways, and air routes now connect Tibet with other parts of China, reducing geographical isolation and bringing economic development opportunities. In particular, the Lhasa-Qinghai Railway is a breakthrough, making it easier to travel from Tibet to other regions. However, although the transportation infrastructure has improved significantly, traveling for international tourists is still difficult. The Chinese government requires tourists to have special permits and be accompanied by a guide throughout the trip, which limits the possibility of independent travel and increases the cost for tourists. 6. Economy and tourism, reality and potential. The Tibetan economy is currently mainly dependent on self-sufficient agriculture. People here mainly raise livestock such as yaks, goats, and sheep, and grow crops such as barley and potatoes. The development of agriculture in Tibet is not as strong as in other regions, but it is enough to sustain the lives of the people here. Livestock farming not only provides food, but also produces products such as wool, leather, and milk to serve the consumption needs of the community. However, the Tibetan economy is not only based on agriculture, but also thrives on tourism. Although not an easily accessible international tourist center like other cities in China, Tibet still attracts millions of tourists each year. Tourists come to Tibet mainly to learn about Buddhist culture, visit monasteries and sacred temples, and admire the magnificent natural scenery here. Buddhist structures such as the Potala Palace, Jokhang Temple, and major monasteries in Lhasa are must-see destinations for tourists. Tourism in Tibet is not a simple experience for international tourists. Strict tourism management policies require tourists to have special permits and be accompanied by a guide throughout the tour. This makes visiting Tibet difficult and somewhat restrictive for tourists from abroad, although these regulations help protect Tibet's unique culture and ecosystem. 7. Tibet's nature and environment. Tibet is a vast plateau, located at an average altitude of 4,000 meters above sea level, making it one of the harshest and coldest regions in the world. The Himalayas, with Mount Everest, the highest mountain in the world, is not only the pride of the local people, but also a great symbol of nature. The natural landscape of Tibet makes anyone who visits it once admire its majestic and imposing beauty. Tibet is not only known for the Himalayas, but also has large saltwater lakes, such as Namtso Lake and Yamdrok Lake. These lakes are not only beautiful, but also carry deep cultural values for the Tibetan people. Moreover, the cold climate and harsh conditions have created a unique habitat for the flora and fauna that live here. From animals like the Tibetan ox, mountain goats, and yaks, to endemic plants, Tibet maintains a unique ecosystem that is also very vulnerable to the impacts of climate change. Besides the beautiful scenery, Tibet is also the source of many large river systems such as the Yellow River and the Indus River. These rivers are not only of great importance to Tibet, but also have a profound impact on surrounding areas, especially China and India. Water from these rivers provides not only drinking water, but also creates favorable conditions for agriculture and other livelihood activities in the region. 8. Traveling in Tibet. Don't forget your life-saving accessory. Tibet, with its dizzying altitude and thin air, is a great challenge for anyone who wants to explore the magnificent beauty of this land. And in the mysterious atmosphere of the plateau, a special item is considered a lifesaver: the oxygen tank. When you stand on this land, the air is so thin that if you are not well prepared, you will easily become dizzy, short of breath, and feel like your body is lacking oxygen. The oxygen tank is not just a trendy accessory, but an indispensable companion. When you lack oxygen, you will find it difficult to enjoy the beauty of the white snow-capped mountains, the vast grasslands, or the traditional villages hidden in the mist. With an oxygen tank in hand, you can breathe easier, minimize the effects of altitude, and comfortably admire the entire natural wonders of this place. A trip to Tibet without an oxygen tank? That's like preparing to go to the beach but forgetting sunscreen. Imagine, you are climbing the winding trails step by step toward Everest, and just because you lack this life-saving accessory, you miss the most beautiful moments. To avoid feeling breathless and unable to immerse yourself in the special atmosphere of this plateau, don't forget to bring an oxygen tank, your essential companion in your journey to discover Tibet. 9. Other unique aspects of Tibet. Tibet is not only known for its majestic natural landscapes, but also a place that preserves unique cultural traits, beliefs, and traditions, creating a vibrant and mysterious picture. Here are some interesting aspects that reflect the identity and vitality of the Tibetan people. Yak, the champion of the cold. Yaks, with their long, thick fur like a high-end fur coat, are a prominent animal on the Himalayan plateau. They are not only a means of transporting goods, but also a source of milk, from which the famous Tibetan butter tea is made. The Dalai Lama has described yaks as powerful spirits, galloping across the grasslands, creating a magnificent and mysterious image in the lives of Tibetans. The legendary tea route. The Tibetan tea route is part of an ancient trade history, where merchants had to traverse over 3,000 kilometers of treacherous mountain roads to bring tea to Tibet. This arduous journey has created legends, and each cup of tea drunk after such a journey contains stories full of mystery and wonder. Lungta flags, the whispers of the wind. Lungta flags, also known as wind horses, are symbols of Tibetan beliefs. These flags, with 5 colors representing the elements of nature, are hung on mountaintops and carry the prayers of the people. Each time the wind blows, the wishes are transmitted, bringing blessings to the world. This is how Tibetans believe they can send their desires to the heavens. The rainbow body phenomenon. One of the most mysterious stories of Tibet is the rainbow body phenomenon. When a lama dies, it is said that he does not leave behind ashes, but only hair and rainbow light, filling the surrounding space. This is one of the mystical phenomena that expresses a deep belief in the transformation ability of Tibetan masters. Conclusion. Tibet is like a Pandora's box. Each time you open it, you are surprised by its strange and mysterious aspects. From the rainbow body phenomenon to the Lungta flags sending prayers, from the world's highest railway to the yaks galloping like they're performing in a circus, this land offers an experience that even the imagination finds hard to keep up with. A visit to Tibet will not only let you climb the roof of the world, but also step into a world between reality and illusion, where the story never stops captivating.